it working? Yes. Okay, wonderful. And 3, 2. Hi, my name is Sam Hoffman. I am a coach for Ridge High School in New Jersey. I've been coaching for about 8 years. I was a competitor for 4 years before that. While I was a competitor, I fulfilled my student judging requirement by having my wonderful father judge at a few tournaments. He loved it so much that he still continues to come back and judge even while I'm a coach once in a while. But his first time ever judging was quite the experience, as it is for everyone whose first time it is as a judge. As someone who's been to tournaments for over 12 years, I've had many, many conversations with parents, siblings, cousins, friends who are at their first ever tournament. And I understand it's can be a pretty anxiety-inducing experience. So we're going to talk for a few minutes about what that experience is like, so that you see that we're all kind of going through the same wild trip that is a 12-hour Saturday forensics tournament. So, Dad, do you want to talk a little bit about what it was like to arrive at the tournament and like kind of what happened, where you had to go, what you had to do? Just tell me a little bit about the day.
Yeah, so when you're a judge, and I think it's the best way to contribute to your child's team experience, because you actually get to experience the tournaments and what they do together, and it's kind of rewarding. Couple of tips: get there early so you can get the lay of the land, know the school. If it's not Ridge High School or the high school where you're used to going, every high school has nooks and crannies and rooms that shouldn't be where they're supposed, where they are, the numbers and stuff. So get there early, know where you're supposed to go, get to the room early that you're assigned to. Find the best spot. If you have to plug something in, know that there's an outlet there. The little logistic stuff, if you think about them in advance, it'll make the actual judging better. Because then the judging starts, and just as soon as that round starts, you're immersed in all, the entire event. And as each participant talks, you just need to focus 100% and nothing else. You can't be distracted by anything.
So let's pause there and kind of summarize. So basically, you're showing up at a brand new school.
Right.
You're gonna have plenty of students from that school or coaches who can direct you to where you're supposed to go. There's gonna be a room for all the judges, parents, and coaches alike. You'll sit there. They'll tell you what time you're gonna be called for your first round. And for every round throughout the day, it's gonna be your responsibility to sit in that room and wait for your name to get called. You don't know what event you're gonna judge. You don't know who you're going to be judging with. Sometimes you're alone, sometimes you're with others, but you know that there's going to be like these times. Round 1's going to be at this time, round 2's going to be at this time, round 3's going to be at this time, and you're going to be sitting there waiting at those designated times that they'll tell you what times those are, and they'll tell you what room to go in. You sit there, you wait for that time, you get called, you go up, you get handed what we call a ballot if it's paper. Other times you may just get sent to your laptop. Mostly nowadays we just send it directly to your laptop or your iPad or your phone. And it will say, go to this room, you're judging this event, click this button when you're ready to begin, and you have these 6 kids. Is that true? That's the experience that you had?
Yeah, and that's really all you need to know. Don't try to go in depth into more than that. You should have prepped a little bit, I would say, with some videos online that are available for any parent, especially before your first tournament, to just familiarize yourself with as many of the events as you can. Because sometimes you get in there and you're like, wait, are they supposed to be laugh? Is it supposed to be funny? Is it supposed to be dramatic? Are they supposed to look at printouts, or does it have to be completely clear?
Yeah.
Knowing what's appropriate for each event, then when you get assigned, you're like, oh, okay, this is this, and then you're better off.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this up in about 1 minute.
Okay.
So talk for about 30 to 45 seconds about the actual experience of judging the round itself, reading the comments, watching the kids, and how you felt for the first time, and your level of preparedness, what you enjoyed, what you didn't like, and then submitting the ballot.
Sure.
And that's the full judging experience at that point.
Find your balance between taking notes on each participant and listening. Because if you wind up writing too much, you may have missed what they're actually saying, and you don't want to do that. You want to pay attention to what the participant and how they're performing. But you do need to take notes, because if you don't take notes by the time you get to your 6th or 7th participant, you will forget what the first and second ones were like. So find your balance between some note taking and paying really careful attention. Second thing that I found helpful was to as you go, you have to rank them all. So let's say there's 7, 1 to 7, right? 1 is the best, 7th was the person who you thought did the least, wasn't
The worst.
The worst, okay. So as you go, judge each one. So 1 goes, you give them the 1, and then the second one goes. Well, who was better, 1 or 2? Then who was better, 1, 2, or 3? And when you get to the bottom, you will already know how you're ranking, as opposed to not thinking about it and at the end saying, "Ooh, I don't know whether this one." Your ballot will basically be done when the kids are done, and then you just finish up some notes, submit it, and then you go to your next round, or you go back to the judges' lounge.
Yeah, and it'll all happen, most of the time it'll happen digitally. It won't even happen on paper. You just click submit, and then that's truly it. You're good to go until the next round. A few words of advice that I want to give as a summary, just having talked to so many people who are judging for the first time. And even for myself, after 12 years of being a part of this, I still find myself second guessing certain ranks. I've given the 1 to people who got 6th in the round. I've given the 6 to people who have gotten 1st in the round of final rounds at big tournaments and in preliminary rounds of local tournaments, which is to say this is very subjective and there is no wrong answers. Confirm with me that all this is true from your perspective, but a lot of first-time judges are so scared that they're not giving the right rank or saying the right thing. There is no right thing to say. There is no wrong thing to say. The best thing you can do is just say something. The students want to know why they got the 1 or the 6, and you don't need to have used the right forensics words. You don't need to have said the word popping, because you might not know what the word popping means. There goes the lights. But I don't know why it did that.
Telling you to wrap up.
Right, it's telling us to wrap up. But it might... But if you just said something along the lines of like, something about your performance fell off to me compared to the others, right? That wasn't super clear. It's obviously not as crisp and direct as some other more experienced judges might say, but just saying something as simple as that is better than nothing at all.
I would say some of the simpler comments you can make are about the actual performance. You spoke too quickly. You spoke too softly. I didn't understand some of the things, some of the words. Those kind of things are so easy just in conversation that's good, always good feedback.
Yeah.
And simple feedback.
So don't be afraid to leave some critique like that, some very pointed critique that's specifically about the performance and not the performer. But at the same time, of course, build them up and make sure you're balancing critique with a compliment. Make sure you have at least 1 for 1, if not more compliments. At the end of the day, we want every student to want to come back the next week.
Yeah.
But your main responsibility is to just play it how you feel it. Write the words that you feel like you should write. Give the ranks that you feel like are the way you felt about the round, and understand that that is perfectly okay. Whether it's your first time or your 100th, that's all you need to do and all you need to worry about. Thanks for judging. We need you. We need you all of the time. You are very important to us. Please judge again and again and again. Your existence as a parent is very necessary for this activity and for your students to have a great time. Thank you.